Okay, hi there, It's another episode of Yearbook University, and again, we're concentrating on design. Today, we're going to talk about a really important topic about good design that is sometimes overlooked or unknown. And so, the topic we're going to cover today is levels of white space. So, white space makes me happy. All right, what the heck is white space? It's the space on the spread that is not occupied by text or graphics. So it's like the negative space around your content, but it's not always white. You can have white space and have the background be gray or black. Usually we leave it white because it looks pretty darn classy and it's nice to do other pops of color, and white is also pretty professional looking. But again, it doesn't have to be white. So what white space does, it's the blank space that gives your viewer or reader, gives their eyes kind of a rest in between the little blips of content, whether it's photos or text. Your eye needs time to like mellow out, and white space is what helps us do that. It's an isolation element too, so what it does is it helps isolate individual packages of content. It's like the little barrier in between, this story is about this story is about this, is an isolational element. And depending on how you use white space, it can either enhance or it can detract from your design. So it's really important that you know how to effectively use white space in order to make sure that it enhances your design. Okay, so in good design, we use 3 levels of white space. So you're like, why the heck only 3? Well, our eye likes 3s. Our eye likes trinities. Our eye likes odd numbers. So if we have 3 variations in white space, it looks very professional, very planned out, very intentional. 1 or 2 doesn't give us enough variation. 5 is like, oh, there's too many things going on, and our eye doesn't pick out that there is 5 distinct. 3 is like the perfect number. So it unifies and it helps direct. It makes the spread easier to read and helps your viewer move quickly from one piece of content to the other. And it makes sure that you as the designer don't overcrowd. It gives it a consistent and coherent look. And then it looks really professional, which again is the goal of our publication. It should look like a professional did it, but it was students. So we use 3 levels of white space, and please, please, please make sure this is in your notes. So level 1 is what we refer to as tight spacing. So tight spacing is 0 to 3 points of separation. So no separation or 3 points. So 3 points is 3 tap, tap, taps of either the space bar or the arrow key when you move over from the grid. And we're going to practice this on Yearbook Avenue. So this helps create a package or group that is barely separate, and so you want to use tight spacing for the most related content. Proximity is key. We're going to talk about that in the next video, but things that are the most similar, you want to have the tightest spacing. They're like best friends. Things that are not similar, you got to give them space, just like you wouldn't crowd somebody you didn't know. Okay, next level of spacing, standard. This is 3/4 of a pica to 1 whole pica of separation. And this establishes kind of a nice medium road of consistent spacing between elements. And then level 3 is your expanded spacing. So this is usually 1 whole grid, 1 whole column or rail of separation. This is great to use if you really want to emphasize something or highlight or draw attention to it. Make sure that it's really separate, almost like you highlighted it because it's way off distance. It's like a loner, a person that's like way removed from the rest of kind of the crowd. Okay, so here we have an example of level 1 packaging that's 0 to 3 points of separation. So you can see that this designer has really created this tight spacing to really emphasize that this is one cohesive kind of module, that these two are sort of telling the same story or they have the same theme. Again, we have it down here. All right, level 2 spacing, so you can see 3/4 to 1 whole pica of separation, a little bit more breathability, a little bit more white space. Again, it's conveying that these two are part of the same package, but gives you a little bit more air in between. Both of these are totally fine. It's just stylistically what the book is going for that year. Do you want to have tight spacing? Do you want to have more open, more white space? What is the design trend for your book that specific year? Lastly, we have an example of level 3 spacing. So this is creating emphasis. So you can see right here, right here, right here, right here. Boom, we're really separating these out. We can really tell that this package has nothing to do with this package because the designer has created a full big emphasis of spacing. We can tell that these two are not related because they have they have a lot of white space in between to really separate them. All right, so white spacing should always be planned. It does not happen by accident. You need to allow for white space around the edges of the page to create breathing room too. We don't want to hug the edge of the page on all four sides because then it feels like we can't breathe, we gotta fill the page. Don't fill the page. It's okay not to fill the page. Graphics should be used to unify, separate, or emphasize on the spread, not to decorate. We don't just bleh all over our page with little, clip art things. Don't feel like you need to fill the space with random graphics or things. Let it breathe. Let it look professional. Let it have white space. And again, that needs to be planned. So here, an example of 3 levels to squish and separate. So we've got tight, we've got standard right here, and then we have the wide spacing to create the emphasis. So all 3 levels are being used on the spread. They have an eye level or eye line happening right here. Okay, this is their dominant photo package. You can see that they're a dominant copy. The text is quite large. So all those things that we've kind of been talking about over the last couple videos, you can see them start to kind of come together and form a nice spread. So again, 3 levels of white spacing. Make sure you have that in your notes, all the different bullets that I covered in this video. And then it's on to proximity. You want to watch proximity along with this video. Thanks guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.